Ah, there you are. Good evening, boys and girls. As you can see, you've caught me relaxing at home with my favourite book of poems, A. Milne's Now We Are Six. My previous video, in which I recited the poem about the old sailor, was such a huge success, getting almost 30 views, that I have decided to push my luck a bit further and read out another one of his poems, because reading out loud is one of the few things I can do without my nose starting to bleed. It just so happens that Milne's poem King John's Christmas is one of my mother's favourites, and I wanted this rendition to be a Christmas present for her, but it might come out a little late, so Merry Christmas, Mum. King John was not a good man. He had his little ways, and sometimes no one spoke to him for days and days and days. And men who came across him when walking in the town gave him a supercilious stare, or passed with noses in the air, and bad King John stood dumbly there, blushing beneath his crown. King John was not a good man, and no good friends had he. He stayed in every afternoon, but no one came to tea. And round about December, the cards upon his shelf, which wished him lots of Christmas cheer, and fortune in the coming year, were never from his near and dear, but only from himself. King John was not a good man, yet had his hopes and fears. They'd given him no present now for years and years and years. But every year at Christmas, while minstrels stood about, collecting tribute from the young for all the songs they might have sung, he stowed away upstairs and hung a hopeful stocking out. King John was not a good man. He lived his life aloof. Alone he thought a message out while climbing up the roof. He wrote it down and propped it against the chimney stack. To all and sundry, near and far, at Christmas in particular, and signed it not Johannes R., but very humbly Jack. I want some crackers, and I want some candy. I think a box of chocolates would come in handy. I don't mind oranges, I do like nuts, and I should like a pocket knife that really cuts. And oh, Father Christmas, if you love me at all, bring me a big red India rubber ball. King John was not a good man. He wrote this message out, and gat him to his room again, descending by the spout. And all that night he lay there, a prey to hopes and fears. I think that's him a-coming now, anxiety bedewed his brow. He'll bring one present anyhow, the first I've had for years. Forget about the crackers, and forget about the candy. I'm sure a box of chocolates would never come in handy. I don't like oranges, I don't want nuts, and I have got a pocket knife that almost cuts. But oh, Father Christmas, if you love me at all, bring me a big red India rubber ball. King John was not a good man. Next morning when the sun rose up to tell a waiting world that Christmas had begun, and people seized their stockings and opened them with glee, and crackers, toys and games appeared, and lips with sticky sweets were smeared, King John said grimly, as I feared, nothing again for me. I did want crackers, and I did want candy. I know a box of chocolates would come in handy. I do love oranges. I did want nuts. I haven't got a pocket knife, not one that cuts. And oh, if Father Christmas had loved me at all, he would have brought a big red India rubber ball. King John stood by the window and frowned to see below the happy bands of boys and girls all playing in the snow. A while he stood there watching and envying them all, when through the window big and red there hurtled by his royal bed, and bounced and fell upon the bed an India rubber ball. And oh, Father Christmas, my blessings on you fall, for bringing him a big red India rubber ball. Good night, boys and girls.
Now for the demeaning part, where I beg for subscribers. Believe me, I hate doing this as much as you hate hearing it, but needs must when too many cooks gather no moss. You may be aware that recently YouTube changed its conditions for a channel to be monetized. It might have changed by the time you hear this, but at the moment a channel needs 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of viewing time. I currently have fewer than 50 subscribers. For that reason, I would be very grateful if you could subscribe to my channel and click the like button. Also, perhaps you might like to recommend my animations to a friend. Or, if you didn't like the video, why not recommend the channel to someone you don't like? Thanks.